What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe, No Days Off DFS, here to bring you that NBA slate breakdown for the we got a 9-game slate over here. I know I'm getting this video a little late out in today. I do apologize to you guys, but nonetheless, of course, your boy got things he had to do. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get this breakdown started and get it done. If you guys are new here, you guys enjoying the content, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any stuff I'm putting out. I'm trying to do a couple of different things over here on the channel. One thing, and I will have another video dropping today, and that will be the Flex Friday video, of course, where I talked about it yesterday, going over the popular tab over here on Prize Picks for NBA, where we literally go over here to the popular tab and just go through these plays that they have up here and decide if we're going to take the over under. I said yesterday in my video I will be using my Flex Friday slip for this one on today, and yeah, we're going to break that down. I'm going to go over that a little bit later today in a later video, so definitely check that out if you guys are looking for some prop plays that you want to go with. I do think that sometimes just taking stuff from this popular tab is not bad. It's really not a bad choice or an option. But first, we're going to go ahead and get the DFS stuff out of the way. Hopefully you guys had a pretty good day yesterday. Definitely had some pretty good nuggets. And if you stack the Lakers, let's backtrack real quick. First things first, the Lakers, those guys being on the trade block, trade rumors, definitely flipped the script, because I've been saying this time and time again. The problem is not necessarily the Lakers players that are on that team. It's the superstars that you have on that team, primarily LeBron. Bron has to have the ball in his hand and has so much gravitational pull with everything, and the expectation, of course, is just so high when you're playing with someone like that. But LeBron James realistically needs 3-and-D players. That's realistically what he has to have around him to play. He can coexist with Anthony Davis. Of course, as you've seen, AD's game has had to evolve and change in regards to him having to learn how to really shoot a three-ball pretty prolifically. I think that's the word. But outside of that, those guys, Vando, Taurean Prince, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, who they've continuously tried to put blame on these guys, they're good players. They are pretty decent players, and as you see, they hung in there with Boston, and they ran like a 7-man rotation. Was killing it. Jackson Hayes, who they don't give minutes to, balled out. Kid's a baller. He's an athletic freak as a center, but you don't give him minutes. You don't let him play. That's really some of the issues that they have over there with the Lakers. But those kids, they balled out last night. Now maybe they might have raised their raised their trade value a little bit from the performance that they put on last night. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think about that one. But that game did not necessarily expect for it to stay as close as what it did, and Boston really taking an L on their home court. Did not expect that at all whatsoever. But we've seen it time and time again. Players that will rise to the occasion whenever they're playing, going up against other teams. You count them down and out. They go out there, they show you what's up, because we're human. We want to prove people wrong, things like that. But all right, we got a pretty nice 9-game slate on the slate. Some decent games to go over. This last game, the Portland versus Denver, that is not going to be on the DraftKings slate. We're going to be stopping at the 8 p.m., which is pretty nice. That means that we're going to have some early finishes on tonight. That's going to be really good. I see a couple of games. I am going to try to get some game stacks out over there on Twitter. We haven't hit a game stat since last week. But for sure, looking at the Clippers, Detroit game, Miami, Washington, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Sacramento and Indy as possible game stacks for me on tonight. So I might have 4 slips out. Understand, these game stacks, I do not put a whole bunch on them whenever I actually do them. But if you are interested in them, check the link down in the description below for the I put them up on the Patreon, but primarily they go up on Twitter, on X. Been really just trying to get more engaged and stuff over there. If you guys actually did follow yesterday on X, now that I think about it, I do tend time to time, whenever I do see plays that interest me or they pop up, I will go ahead and post them up there. Halliburton, I want to say he fell short just barely. Of course, yesterday, 22 minutes is that cap. Came pretty close to actually getting there. And then Colin Sexton, of course, hello darkness, my old friend. Went ahead and played him again yesterday, and of course he cashed out on that. If you actually were in a full stack, Colin Sexton, Laurie Larkin, and John Collins, all 3 of those guys, they killed their fantasy point yesterday. Of course, good matchup going against Philly with no Embiid. That was all right. And then I did post a full slip yesterday right before lock. Jared Allen got injured. Miles Turner lost his minutes to Smith. Walker Kessler, he killed that, no problem. Hartenstein, he killed that. Colin Sexton, like I said, he killed his. And then Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson. Brunson was not in pass mode at all whatsoever down here. And Halliburton, of course, just the minute limit. That messed with that one. But again, can't do anything with that. But it is what it is. But going on over for today, looking at it, starting with the injury report. Clippers taking on Detroit. Paul George, he's back. Still without Zubac. Detroit, Kate Cunningham, fully expected to play. Stewart and Mike Muscala, they're out. Kevin Knox should be starting right there. Miami, Jamal Cain, Duncan Robinson is out. Biggest thing is Duncan Robinson being out over here. Washington, Bagley is expected to be out. And Isaiah Livers is out. So without no Bagley, behind Gafford. Gafford's minutes might be more solidified tonight. We might see a decent run for Gafford as long as he keeps himself out of foul trouble. And without Gafford, I would imagine they might just run a small ball lineup, put Kyle Kuzma at the center position, if anything. But their backup center position, I really don't feel like they have anything going right there over there for Washington. The Suns, no real news that we got to worry about over here for them. Atlanta, Hunter, he came back last game, played 15, 16 minutes. I know they're bringing him along slowly, so that's the biggest thing right there for that. Sacramento Kings, no news for them. We do got some all-star snubs in De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis. One of those guys might actually make it in. Indy, Halliburton, do need to know if he's going to actually play today. Not too sure. Miles Turner, he's a game-time decision as well. I didn't see anything about him being injured, but definitely something to pay attention to. Mathurin, he was out yesterday. Definitely want to know if he's going to be in or out, because if he's going to be out, we've been seeing Neesmith, man. Dude's been honestly just killing it over his last couple games. Like, that's all I can say about that. Toronto, quickly, I believe he's set to be back today. RJ Barrett, same thing for him. Poto, all these guys game time decisions. Would want to know if they're going to be in or out. For Houston, Şengün, he did pop up on the injury report. I was leaning towards him being out, but looks like he's actually going to be good to go and to play. If Şengün was to be limited or out by any means, then Jabari Smith would be a pretty good play, especially I could see them running small. And he's actually played very well whenever they have ran him at the center position. Orlando, no news for them. Minnesota, Rudy Gobert game time decision. If he's out, then of course you're going to want to play Karl-Anthony Towns, Naz Reid, Kyle Anderson. But if not, then still Rudy actually has a pretty good matchup going against Wendell Carter Jr. He should honestly be able to eat him up. The Pelicans, Zion, he was already ruled out or doubtful with his hand or foot, one of those two things, something like that. But with him being out, that definitely going to boost my boy J-Val. His minutes and stuff should go up. Herb, if he's going to be in or out, we'll see. Maybe we might get some Najee Marsh, more minutes for him, something like that for the Spurs. And of course, they really don't need them to play the Spurs, but Spurs have been playing better. For the Spurs, Collins, he's expected to be back. Keldon Johnson, he's doubtful to play. The Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo Ball, he's doubtful. Hayward, he's already out. Kyle Lowry's out. Mark Williams is out. And then for the Thunder, Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams is going to be out. So Chet had a really good game last game. Oh, this game, I will also be stacking my my Thunder. So I will try. I'm going to have probably 4 or 5 full game stack slips going up today. Whenever I do those, I try to correlate them pretty well in regards to how I just feel like the game's going to go, weak spots that I really feel like you can attack, and some props that look pretty good over there for players. So definitely will try to have that for you guys. And then last but not least, Golden State Warriors. Draymond Green fully expected to play, but they will be without Moody, Chris Paul, Gary Payton, and Dario Saric. Kuminga, hella minutes. Love the minutes that I'm seeing for Kuminga. Over here on the Memphis side, as you can see, they are shorthanded with everyone up and down, left and right for them. But Luke Kennard, game time decision, whether or not if he's going to be in or out, definitely something we want to pay attention to. All right. Heading over to DraftKings, decided to play most on site. If you guys don't got an account, you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys get that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on the King. All right, starting out with Miami taking on Washington. This should be a pretty decent game, at least for a fantasy somewhat perspective. Jimmy Butler sitting at 7-8 really does stick out to me. He's been playing really well over his last 3 games, 50, 45, 51 fantasy points in these last 3 games. Been very aggressive. Minutes have been up for him as well. Has been really facilitating and scoring. On top of that, I mean, Terry Rozier, he hasn't been doing too great since they have brought him over in regards to like his scoring output and everything that he can actually give. Been very good playmaking. I give him that much. That has not fallen off for him. But the upside that they have over here for the Heat, matchup-wise and everything, I do love Jimmy Butler here, 7-8. I think that's a pretty good price tag to get him at. I know this is an 8K plus player right here that we have in Jimmy Butler. The matchup going up against Washington, fast pace, and just his aggressiveness and everything for him right now. Love it. I think I would take advantage of that at the 7-8 price tag. Of course, for Bam, this should be a pretty cake matchup for him as well. Going up against Washington, all you got to worry about is just Daniel Gafford, and if they run small, Bam, I mean, he's not a big body center, but he should still be able to have the advantage there anyway. A decent spot, playing some good minutes, 35 at least minutes that we should see from him if the game does stay close. But between them, I really do like Jimmy Butler. This could be a GPP option spot for Tyler Hero. Not bad. Of course, 3-point sniper down in Duncan Robinson. Maybe we can see uptick in some more threes for Hero. Very uncharacteristic. Only 4 3 attempts in that last game going up against the Kings. I would expect a little bit more for him here, especially, again, going up against a weak Washington team. I do like the upside for him there, but Jimmy Butler be the main guy that really is just popping and just truly sticking out for me whenever I look at this team. Jaime Jaquez looks like he's kind of trending back down. The minutes, they're so there, but with everyone back and them trying to integrate Terry Rozier, just haven't seen the upside for Jaime over his last couple games. And then if you land here, he's not by any means a must player, but Caleb, he's getting a decent chunk of minutes value if you have to go there, but not not pretty at all. Over on the Washington side, Bagley being out, like I said, I really do think that's going to mess with the center rotation for them. Of course, Gafford, I really don't see Gill getting too many minutes, and I just think that Kuzma will just end up playing some of that backup 5 role. Hopefully, Gafford can keep his hands to himself and stay out of foul trouble, because the upside will be there for him, especially with no Bagley to take up those minutes, because they were splitting those minutes pretty evenly, seeing about a good 25 minute split between the two of them, as long as either or just stayed out of foul trouble. Jordan Poole is expected to be back this game, so we don't got to worry about Koulibaly getting slid into the starting role for him here. So he's good to go. Maybe, again, this game could possibly stay close. Don't have too many interests over here from anyone, especially since Poole will actually be back. Biggest thing would just be maybe you could take a chance, GPPs, on Kuzma, just because, again, with, no Bagley being there, Kuz could see that back and run. All right, Clippers taking on Detroit. Paul George being back, that really just kind of messes with everything. I would have loved maybe getting to a Harden or Kawhi Leonard, because I do think Detroit can't keep this game close. They've been playing much better as of late. Of course, with K being back and just them working him in there, and seeing Killian Hayes, his minutes have just pretty much declined completely. He's out of the rotation. He's on the trade block. Hope maybe the Spurs might actually get Killian Hayes. That might actually be a pretty decent trade right there. But nonetheless, of course, still no Zubac, so we do know center rotation that is a little up and down with Mason Plumlee and Thies sharing that load right there. I do like the other side on Detroit for Jalen Duren in this matchup. I don't think Plumlee or Thies will be able to hold him if he actually plays aggressive in the spot. Outside of that, you can mess with Kawhi Leonard or James Harden. Either one of these guys, both sitting at 8K. I do like the upside for them. Paul George, he seems like he's been somewhat on a minutes limit over his last couple of games, so I really don't have I don't have any interest in Paul George here. 7-9. I think they're just trying to get to the All-Star break, so wouldn't mess with that too much right there. Really would just be James Harden or Kawhi Leonard, and honestly, Kawhi Leonard, he's just been balling over his last several games. Looks very good out there. 58.75 fantasy points in that last game, and then Harden, he did come on for 57.25 fantasy points. You can play the ownership numbers here, but I will say, like I said, Kawhi is my more favorite of the two. James Harden, I do understand going up against Detroit, opposing point guards, they have literally smashed it, crashed it, just killed it all the way around. So not a good spot not a bad spot for either one, but Kawhi, I would take him over the two. On the other side, Cade is expected to play. Jalen Duren, I do love the upside for him here in the spot. Going up against the Clippers, like I said, Plumlee, not scared of that defense. Same thing for Thies. He's a small body center, but the athleticism that Duren brings, not many people can match that athleticism. And then with his actual 2-point guard out there in Cade Cunningham, the upside will be just skyrocketing for him there. Outside of that, there's not really too much love over here. They did run something pretty funny last game. I want to say that it was Mike Muscala got the start out there next to Jalen Duren last time. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but we don't got to worry about that today because Mike is going to be out. Everyone else over here, they're all GPP options. Nobody pops out to me as something that I have to have. Just Duren is the only one I really do want to get to. Phoenix taking on the Atlanta Hawks. This should be hopefully a good game. Trae Young, I know, another all-star snub right there. D-Book, KD, Nurk, Beal, all these guys in contention going up against a weak Hawks team who we know bleed it and just give it left and right. Nurk, I'm not going to expect another 55.25 fantasy point game from him. That was like the most shot attempts he's had in a long time. We do not see this for Nurk, honestly. And opposing centers going up against the Atlanta Hawks, yeah, they can all go out there and have pretty good games. I would more just like him for like a rebound upside or something like that. But I'm not going to expect him to go off right here. Again, definitely I do like the upside for KD, D-Book. Both of these guys been just locked in over the last several games. They've been playing really tremendously and just great ball all around. I don't mind if I can get to either one of these guys as possible pay up options. None of them are truly a must. I will say I'll always go to my my faithful play, which will always be Grayson Allen whenever I do actually like him and want to go to him on a slate. He normally delivers for me, and the upside definitely will be there for him, especially in this matchup going up against Atlanta. And then Bradley Beal, GPP option, not anything that's sticking out to me that, hey, this is a Beal game, this is where I want to go to get Beal. Nothing for me right there. Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, both these guys, of course, are going to be heavily needed in order to keep this game close. Guard position, of course, is where Phoenix is weak at. Trae, love the upside for him, especially all-star snub. Maybe comes out with the chip on the shoulder, goes out there and actually goes and scores quite a bit. Drops one of his nice patented 40 plus 12 assist type games. 11 for his assist upside as well today. DeJounte Murray, as you always know, if you don't want to or you can't get up to Trae Young, just drop down to DeJounte Murray. He's just equally as good and has pretty much a stat sheet stuff and mentality as well. Either one of those guys are safe plays plays, especially for cash games, but I do like Trae Young over DeJounte Murray. And then GPP option, of course, Jalen Johnson, as long as he keeps himself out of foul trouble. As you can see, he's been picking up the fouls lately. If he keeps himself out of foul trouble, he will go out there and deliver you a 40+ fantasy point game. Been a minute since I have actually played him myself, but I do like the matchup, like the upside for him here. I can't see him getting himself into foul trouble trying to defend KD, but I do like the upside still if he can actually keep his hands to himself. And then Clint Capella and Neko Konwu, both these guys, GPP options, I would come down to a Konwu just because they pretty much split the center position pretty evenly. Both of them are going to be playing right around 25, 28-ish minutes, depending on who actually is playing hot, who's not getting into foul trouble. But Okongwu, just because you can actually play him at that power forward or the forward position, makes for more I honestly cannot even think of the word. It's literally drawn a blank. But just the upside is better in regards to where you can actually position availability for Conway. There we go. I do like that upside for him. The Kings taking on Indy. Sabonis, all-star snub, like I said already. I love this matchup for Sabonis. Miles Turner, if he's out, he's going to be going up against Jalen Smith if Jalen Smith is actually going to be in. Either way, they will not be able to handle Sabonis, boy. This dude should go out here and have a field day, just like how he did going up against Miami. The rebounds, the assists. This is triple-double written all over it for Sabonis Day. Love this spot for him. Honestly, can't talk enough. Both of these guys, Sabonis and Fox, we literally have seen it. Last night, Brunson and Hartenstein, both of them just popped off going up against the Pacers. Easy fucking day right there for me. Fox, of course, he's been more GPP for it just because he's been so-so. He's very much up and down in regards to what he can go out there and give you. But I just love this spot for Sabonis. He honestly is one of my highest, well, honestly, probably is my main sub that I want to get to on today is Sabonis. So do what you want with that info right there. Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, Harris Barnes, all these guys right here, this was the normal rotation that we were seeing. I will say Monk's minutes, they've actually kind of trended down over his last couple of games, and we've been seeing Kevin Huerter, he's caught fire. Like he's playing deep minutes, but he's also scoring very well out there at the same time. Same thing for that boy. Where is he at? Keegan Murray. I don't know what the hell's going on with this kid, but he's balling. He's went out there 51.75 fantasy points against Miami. Did not expect that for him out there in that game. So I'll say they still do run with the hot hand over here for this team, and that's probably why Monk really hasn't had to get those minutes because prior before we saw Harrison Barnes, he was popping off left and right, 32, 30, 39, 20 points out there. So there really wasn't needing that production from Monk off the bench. I will still say Monk, a great GPP option, 5.3. The price has definitely dropped down a lot on him since this little bit of cold stretch. But Keegan Murray, do like the upside for him here. We have normally attacked the Pacers with opposing power forwards because they have always had great games going up against them, and that's going to be the same thing here in this spot. I don't mind going to Keegan if anything, and then Kevin Huerter, I do like him as well as another play you can go to, but of course, like I said, my favorite play is going to be Sabonis. Other than that, the bench rotation, everything, it's too far in between over there for them. Nothing that we got to worry about over there. Now, on the Pacers side, if Halliburton is going to actually be in, I would imagine he's still going to be limited to those minutes. Maybe they might shorten those minutes. He might only play 20 minutes tonight, or 18. But with that being said, Pascal Siakam, Aaron Nesmith, both those guys do like the upside for him. Nesmith has been playing beautiful ball over his last couple games. Like, it's ridiculous. 31, 39, 40, 57 fantasy points, 37 minutes last night, and he's logging hella minutes out there as well. If Halliburton is limited in any way, Nesmith, he's doing it. He's actually playmaking as well, rebounding very well, and he's a small forward as well. He's not actual the position small forward, but he's actually a small forward. He looks small. He could be a shooting guard if anything out there. But Nesmith, do love the upside for him here. If Miles Turner is going to be out and Smith is going to be out, I would imagine that we're going to see maybe some Jackson will come out here. We might see some more minutes for a Obi Toppin, something like that. But I would want to pay attention to those minutes for Miles Turner and for Smith. If either one of those guys are going to be out. Smith, I really don't understand. His back is questionable. He has been dealing with back spasms throughout the season, so wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the kid, he balled out yesterday, 39.75 fantasy points. Amazing. All right there. If Mathurin's going to be out again, that really does solidify Nesmith's minutes as well. I think that's been a direct correlation in regards to Nesmith actually popping off over these last couple games. And then if Halliburton's going to be limited or anything like that, then of course TJ McConnell and Nembhard, both those guys get a boost in regards to their minutes and the run that they're going to get out there. The Golden State Warriors, I do like the Warriors today. Kuminga going up against Memphis. Kids, his minutes, they're there, 30, 43, 39 minutes, all those fantasy production, beautiful, love it. Chef's kiss. Definitely will go right back to him. Of course, we know Chris Paul, no Dario Saric. The minutes will be there for Kuminga to actually run that forward in the backup center spot. Outside of that, Draymond Green, you can mess with that. He's going to be going up against Jaren Jackson Jr. Could see himself possibly getting some ticky-tacky fouls, depending on how Draymond decides he wants to play. But the main guy that we're going to want to look to as well is going to be Steph Curry, 64, 60, 47, 42, 48 fantasy points. Beautiful for for the chef. He's been cooking it up over his last couple games. 8, 8, 7, 7 assists. If they got an assist at like 5.5 or 6, I would take the over on that as a possible play right there. But Kuminga, I just can't talk enough about it. 6,200. I love that we're finally actually seeing him unleashed after all these years. The upside is definitely going to be beautiful here for him. For Memphis, we do need to know who's going to be in or out for this team on today. Tillman was ruled out literally probably like 15 minutes after lock. Didn't make any sense. And I don't understand what the hell they're doing with the injury report. They should be fine for that, by the way. But outside of that, Jaren Jackson Jr., we know he's going to have all the usage, all the minutes, everything. Dropped 45.25 fantasy points last night against Cleveland. That was in 34 minutes. Hopefully, we don't get foul trouble, foul prone Jaren Jackson Jr. today. We do know how much he can get himself into foul trouble. It's so ridiculous. But Jaren Jackson Jr., don't mind the upside for him here at 8,200. Not a must, but someone that you can definitely look to. Vince Williams Jr., I do love him as a play. The dude's pretty much a pretty solid fantasy point per minute producer when he is out there on the court, and he does have upside besides his rebounds. He can also play on the defensive side and get you some assists, but the scoring is pretty good for him as well. I do love that for him. If Luke Kennard is actually going to be in, don't mind him as a guard play right there. We know that they are pretty much around robbing at the guard position. But if he's going to be out, Scottie Pippen Jr., John Conchar, both of these guys are going to get the burn and run over there. Scottie, he's been playing very well. Now, if Kennard is going to be in and you have Conchard, he's actually going to be playing Gilliard, all these guys, maybe I'll take go down a little bit on Scottie Pippen because I'm not going to be so sure if he's going to actually get all that burn that he's been getting. Maybe we go back down to like this lower 17 or 20-ish minutes for him. I'm not going to expect for him to go out there in 22 minutes and get me another 29 fantasy points. That was really due to the fact of these blocks and steals. You go ahead and you take out that's 4 stocks right there. So that's 8 fantasy points, dropping down to 20. That's almost a fantasy point per minute at 4,900. I want more than that for him right there. But outside of that, not mess with too much over here on the Grizzlies side unless we get word that legit everybody's going to be out. We still even have Derrick Rose that's questionable to possibly play tonight, so not going to go there. Over here on the San Antonio Spurs side, for the New Orleans Pelicans, if Zion's going to be out with his foot, and let's see if Herb Jones is going to also miss as well, then I do love the upside here for Jonas Valanciunas at 6'4". Without those players out there, 33 minutes, his minutes go up. His minutes are actually secured without them out there with him. He's going to go out there. He's going to be able to rebound. He's going to actually get the putbacks. He's going to get the plays that he can actually go out there and do. And he will drop you a very good fantasy point production, especially going up against the San Antonio Spurs. Even with Wemby out there still, they're definitely a team that give it up to opposing centers. And I love the upside for Jonas if Zion and Herb Jones are going to be out. If one of those guys miss, I still will take the upside for Jonas, but mainly if it's Zion. If Zion's in, then the production just drops a little bit for me, especially if Larry Nance is going to be out, because then I know for a fact Jonas, he's going to have to play his minutes because then we won't have to worry about Larry coming in playing that small ball center type role or anything like that for him. Outside of that, if those guys are to also miss, BI, his usage goes up as well a lot with them being out. 49 and 45 fantasy points. 45 fantasy points in that game that they didn't play going up against Houston. So the upside will be there, especially going up against the Spurs. Fast-paced team. We know we can actually get a lot of fantasy point production from those guys there as well. Over on San Antonio Spurs side, Wemby, he's been balling. Pretty much putting up close to 50 fantasy points in every single game. Since they've actually upped the minute limit for him. I do like him here. Don't mind as a GPP option. Not a must, especially at 9.3. Now when I can go up and get my boy Sabonis right here as well. But he does offer that multiple position eligibility, so you can go with him at the power forward or forward position if you want to go there. Outside of that, really not too much sticks out for me. Without Keldon Johnson, maybe we see more minutes solidified for Sochan out there, Vassell, Champagny, City Osman, those things like that. But nothing else really sticks out over here for me on the Spurs side. And then last couple games on the slate. Charlotte Hornets taking on my OKC Thunder without LaMelo Ball being out there. Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller, PJ Washington, and Cody Martin. Those guys are the guys that are getting all the minutes. Miles Bridges, his usage has gone through the roof. They will definitely need him to stay in this game. My Thunder, they can play pretty fast pace, but they can also give it up at that power forward, small forward position as well, especially with I would imagine that Lou Dort is not going to be able to guard Miles Bridges out here. I think they'll put him on like maybe Brandon Miller or something like that. But Miles Bridges, the rebound upside will be there for him, the scoring upside as well. And like I said, he's taken over these last couple games without LaMelo Ball being out there. And I do like his upside here on the day. 8.5, really good spot for him. Brandon Miller, GPP option. I've been riding high on the kid, but when I played him going up against Houston, 9.75 fantasy points was horrible right there for me. Utah, same thing. Then finally he pops off over these last couple games. GPP option, not nothing that I really want to go to. I do think that Shea or maybe even Giddey might be able to have a good defensive game going up against him, but if Giddey's guarding him, he should honestly be able to cook Giddey because Giddey has a slow first step. Like, Giddey is so freaking slow. PJ Washington, do like him. I know he's been playing quite a bit of minutes off the bench. He's not going to start, but he will play those minutes off the bench. His upside is there as a GPP option you can go to, but the main guy I want to get to is going to be Miles Bridges. And then Cody Martin is just a GPP value play you can go to. Over here on the Thunder side, Chet, upside, boom, love it. Easy day. All day. Without J-Dub being out there, we saw a very aggressive Chet. The rebounds, the assists, the blocks. The block upside should be for him here in this game, especially going up against Nick Richards and Miles Bridges, who I do know like to drive to the hoop, and the block should be there for him as well. But the scoring upside, all that without J-Dub out there, love it for him. Chet, probably another one of my favorite plays over here as a center play. On today, if you don't want to go to Sabonis and you want to come down and get some value, 7-6 is just a little bit too cheap for him, and the upside that he can have, especially with the rest days that he's actually been able to have off as well. And then, of course, with no J-Dub, SGA, the offensive load, it does fall more on his shoulders as well. One of the things interesting that he said in most recent interview was the fact that he has not had that 50-plus point game. And that's just straight scoring. He said it would be nice to actually have that sooner rather than later. So what better game than to get that going up against the Charlotte Hornets, who play lackluster defense. And this could be the game that we actually get it from Shea. So I'm not going to put that out of realm possibilities, but I do love the upside for Shea here. 10-3 would be one of the more one of the guards I'd rather pay up for, because we do know without J-Dub being out there and Isaiah Joe, a lot of that scoring responsibility will fall to SGA. Now, we'll say off the bench, with Dub being out last game, they did start Kenrich Williams, and then he was benched in the second half for Aaron Wiggins, which Aaron Wiggins did play a hell of a lot better than he did out there. But Aaron Wiggins' minutes had already been going up. Definitely a GPP option you can go to right there. But I do like Mishix. We have been seeing quite decent minutes for a big Mish. Last game was honestly his best game of the season. 17 minutes, 12 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, and he just constantly comes out there and he produces. And he's been trying to be more aggressive. I do like him as a sneaky GPP option that I don't think anyone's going to go to, just because, of course, I just like the upside for him. And this could be one of those games, fast pace, and just I don't know, watching the Thunder play, watching Mishix play, listening to their interviews, it just sounds like they want to get him more involved and get him more minutes to actually play. And I really just do like the upside for him here in this spot. Orlando taking on Minnesota. This game for me, it should be honestly just a dog fest, dog it out type game. Not too much that I'm really like from here. If I got to take anything, it's going to be Paolo Banchero, just for his upside. Marco Fultz, I know he's been back in the starting lineup, been playing pretty well over those last couple of games. 32, 29 fantasy points. If you want to go there, 5-1, not bad. But really, Paolo, I know that if the team actually wants to win, it is going to be on the back of Paolo actually going out here, having a decent game. Going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves, depending on actually what they have as PRA at, I might mess with something right there. I'll come back to that. Over here on the Minnesota side, though, if Rudy Gobert is going to be out, Karl-Anthony Towns, like I said, I do like the upside for Cat, especially going up against Wendell Carter Jr. Should be able to bully him, get whatever he wants, the rebounds, all those things like that. And plus, you can get Wendell Carter Jr. in foul trouble, easy day as well. Outside of that, of course, Naz Reid, Kyle Anderson, both those guys will get a bump if Rudy is going to actually be out. Right now, he's questionable against them due to a left ankle sprain, so I will want to pay attention to if he's going to be good to go in and out on that one. Toronto taking on Houston. If Quickly is actually back, don't mind going to Quick here in this spot. Powell, not really going to be too interested right there in that. Outside of that, everyone else is just a little bit too priced up with these guys actually returning. Not going to be something I'm going to want to mess with. Over here in Houston, long as Şengün is good to play, I don't mind going to Şengün as a late night hammer, late night play you can get to. Outside of that, if he was to miss, and Jabari Smith Jr. is going to be the main guy I want to go to, and then you can take a chance over here on my boy Ken Whitmore. Maybe we see some more minutes for him, and he comes out here and he has a bomb and a killer of a game, like what he's been able to do in the past, things like that. Outside of that, not really too much interest here in these later games down here for me. Hopefully you guys were able to get a little something. I'm gonna go ahead, try to get this put up for you guys, and then get those prop plays, prop videos up for you guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the content. Drop a like on the video if you guys did. Talk to me down in the comment section. Let me know who's your favorite stud and who do you think was your all-star snub for this year. I do think they need to expand the all-star pool a little bit, because it doesn't seem like they have enough slots, if I'm being honest. And the league has expanded. There's a lot more great players in the league, and a lot of these guys do actually deserve recognition as all-stars. With that being said, it's your boy Zoe. Hopefully you guys have a good day. Peace.